So this is us just getting inside of the ship with all of the cargo tied in that's rolled on from the port. What's the name again, Matt?
The Bahri Tabuk.
The Bahri Tabuk.
So you can see, roll on, roll off.
Yeah.
And you see how the decks can move.
Oh, God. Okay, so the whole thing moves up and down. It's adjustable based on the height of the cargo. Wow.
There's a ramp down again.
Okay. So this is, we were in the McCool for the commissioning, but it was of course empty. So now it wouldn't be loaded with this, but it would be loaded with stuff like this.
Yeah, Bradleys or Humvees.
Yep.
Or, whatever. Yeah. And it'd be tied down the same way. It's very similar design. They have the recessed pad eyes and everything in deck.
Yep. It was a little newer looking, but it's same basic thing. Watch your step.
Very clean.
Yeah. This is in the control tower. Just came off the elevator.
Yeah. They're pretty organized on it. Hello.
The test to be able to get out, I'm going to fail.
One with you too.
For sure. So this is the ship.
So Captain, what are we showing for wind?
This is the captain. He's from Poland. A lot of people here from the Philippines, from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I'll ask the tugs real quick. We've gone up to 25 here. Wait, above 25 we're not leaving. Yeah, it seems like it's gone down a little bit.
There's the William Button. You can see more tie downs on the deck out here. There's one of the tugs. There's a lot more open space than there was on the McCool, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're welcome to put your life jackets there. Side and then push us off, no lines. But I'm a little concerned about your thrusters against the wind. I don't know. So we'll have, they'll put a line up on the bow, the barcade, and then I'm going to put the Turclano on the center line jog aft so they can drive into it. So this is the more powerful tug. And then they'll help, in addition to your thrusters, should be no problem.
I just can't believe how huge this ship is. So all of the available berths at the south end of the port, this ship occupies. And then the one that CMAX uses that's been damaged for a long time, that which is not in use, but you can actually see that it takes up, I think this is 3, 4, and 5. Oh, that's the new American Magic portion that they're constructing. And then over here you have, I think it's 3, 4, 6 over there, and it's just it's hard to see at a distance, but it's they don't use that because it needs a lot of repairs. And then you see the one of the loading ramps for this, what's called a RORO, roll on, roll off. There's 3 Mile Bridge in the distance. Man. It is a Saudi flag vessel. Looks like a helicopter landing pad. So we've got, I think, 2 tugs working on us. 1 fore and 1 aft here. breeze. Bahri Tabuk. There's the other tug in the front. This ship is not moving yet. A little bit windy today, so the ride back on the harbor pilot boat should be interesting. And there's your bridge. So one thing, this is Matt. How do you say your last name, Matt?
Meilstrup.
Meilstrup, just like I thought. Okay. This is the United States naval ship William R. Button. It's in maintenance, repair, and overhaul work right now with offshore inland. Matt is the harbor pilot. Our captain here is from Poland, and one of the things he was just saying is that in order to qualify, in order to do this, he had to have the charts memorized. But he also likes to have the iPad, which has, you know, all of the information on it too. It's good to have backup systems. There you see all the nacelles, which are assembled and ready to go, and we're like out of space, like need space. That, by the way, is the pickleball facility when it's going to get done. Oh, sorry, the one over that, the arch roof, is the pickleball one. Yes, sir.
Good. So, a little tour of the port.
Yep.
The enclosed building over here on the far right is Cemex.
Mm-hmm.
They bring the cement in and they basically store it inside. Obviously, no product escapes because
It's contained, right.
The next building over is sort of storage. So you've seen the recent article on UWF having some space expanded.
Yep.
That's in the next building.
That's the wave
over.
facility is there? Okay.
That's part of it. You
Okay.
know, it's part of that building. But and then the aggregate mound behind there, that was Mark Marietta. That's just basically from the Bahamas. It's rock coming in and uses foundation buildings, roads, everything else. American Magic skin over there, of course. That's the American Magic facility. And they're occupying part of this warehouse to a little bit west of there for the time being until they get that one finished. The long low building is the stevedores, the people that unload and offload ships, put things on train cars, on flatbeds, make sure everything's secured while they change.
What people would call the longshoremen, maybe?
Longshoremen,
okay.
Exactly. Stevedores, longshoremen, exactly. And then the building over here, that's Offshore Inland's maintenance facility or fabrication facility. And then, as you noted, the far warehouse is where the pickleball's at.
And we got the fish house over there, and in the distance, the Bay Center and the Grand Hotel, and over there you got City Hall. This green space area is also, I believe, frequently used for lay down, like when there's debris or just they need space, but you would figure at some, and they had to build that up, if I remember correctly. It was really unusable terrain, if I remember. Anyway, one thing you can see here is there's just not a lot of surplus space. You know, this is pretty full. They're basically doing as much as we have space to be able to accommodate with the wind turbines. So, having never been at this end of the port this high, I never knew that we had channel markers on top of these buildings. So the front one is low and the back one is high, and when you line them up, that's the center of the channel. There's all kinds of channel markings all over the place, but they're not necessarily visible because you're not looking for them or thinking about them, but just like you see coming in by the lighthouse, coming in at the pass, that's that same basic concept. And here we have the GL52s that are coming in, that are going to be racing next week, I think. So I was informed this is not American Magic, just somebody's really, really nice sailboat. Might be that American Magic is down there by the fish house in parts. This is just looking straight down where we're waiting for the tugs to take us out. Alright, so we have separated a little bit here, you can see, compared to back there. I'm so terrified I'm going to drop my phone. But you can see that they're pulling us off here just a little bit. So the wind on this side is quite a bit worse. You can see you've got that tug aimed in there, but they're going to apparently work it in reverse, which is much lower power but adequate. You can feel the wind. It's really, really quite a bit. And that means that the boat just working on its own thrusters would not be back too hard, or they could rip the attachment right off of the deck. So we have supplies. We have Emirates water and your unusually shaped coat because it's also Arabic on the back. What is the size on this thing? Oh, okay. So many ounces. And if you look now, you can see we are significantly separated. Got about maybe 50 feet up there and about 30 feet in the back that we're separated now. And the tug is, I'm assuming, going to pull us out to get us basically aiming away from the port south. And so you can see here the disturbance from various levels of the water, dirt all the way down. And then those are some of the thrusters, at least in the back. It's kind of a tricky situation because of the wind. We're going to reposition the tugs around to be able to push, so they're going to probably get them around on this side, I think. We'll see. Right, the tug was back.
Not very powerful that way, so I'm having them come around and change their angle so they can push, and they get the full weight of their horsepower that way. So we're fighting this stiff wind.
Right, because the wind tries to do the opposite of what we're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
So that is the tugboat coming around. You can see the push effect that he's having. A lot more power going forward than pulling backwards. Oh, you can actually feel it moving just a little bit. I mean, this is a huge vessel. This is a 50,000 tons. Massive ship. At 27 feet, I think he said, depth. I think the channel is cut to 33 feet at best. So we got 6 feet of clearance in the center. 6 feet's a lot of clearance, unless you're talking about a 50,000 ton ship. It doesn't seem like a lot to me, but it's enough, right? Say 25 miles an hour. Riding back in on the pilot boat's gonna be fun. So you got one tug pushing at this corner and the other tug pulling at the other corner. And you can actually see motion just a little here. I'm going to give you a straight line shot so you can see the motion. Probably my hand is wiggling more than it's moving, but here's a little bit better angle. You can see we're making a little bit of progress. It's like being on your cruise ship. Oh, there's Community Maritime Park. Kind of forget it's there when it's on the other side of this giant ship, which again is a U.S. naval ship, USNS. What did he tell me that these are for? Logistics and supply was my takeaway, but I think it's slightly more complicated than that. They had taken it out to sea trials and had some stuff and brought it back in for repairs. So see Plaza de Luna in the foreground, Wahoo Stadium in the background. You're going on the far side of the green buoy?
We're going to go
to the left side. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
You can see the range, it's down in the distance, see the home on the Gulf Breeze there?
Yeah.
That's the center of the channel. So,
Okay.
You know, we're getting close to center line here. There's good water all in this area, so I'm happy as long as it's doing it. We're here, we're in good shape.
Does the channel terminate here at the port? Okay.
Yeah, the turning basically here, inner harbor if you wish.
And you said 33 feet, right?
Yeah.
At best?
That at worst.
At worst.
At
Okay.
worst.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
we have 27. We're good there. Yeah. Now, too far that way is not great.
Yeah.
You good, Captain?
All right. So
Getting there.
fine.
It's a lot of wind for your ship.
So if you're not familiar with the geography as much, that's Plaza de Luna, and then you've got Community Maritime Park, and then you've got Bruce Beach, and then you've got the diesel storage tanks, then you've got Joe Patty's. And as you continue west, of course, eventually far enough over there you get to the Navy base, which we're going to pass by on our way to the pass. Well, there you can kind of see that we're moving a little bit more dramatically. Again, this is all tug, power, and thrusters at the moment. You're good. Go wherever you want. John Pickens is here with me, the intrepid adventure producer, wearing his sweet, dirty Fredbird hat. Love it. Found out that Matt is the harbor pilot is a Cubs fan, but we love him anyway. And you see there the channel markers. So we're getting pretty close to being in line for it. There's a turning basin here that is all good water in this area, Matt calls it. It's all deep enough that he can maneuver a boat around like this. Alright, and then we have the John Torricano. The second tug has come around now. So she's getting in position to help steer us, push us. Heard Matt saying to go to 100% rear thrusters, I think is what he said. Hey, if y'all know a lot about ships and I say anything stupid, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. Now on the port side, wind is much more wicked here toward the front. Inside, we're getting ready to actually drive the boat.
Starboard at 170.
170.
And camera okay, beautiful, what they do. Give her down this, yes, slow ahead. Let's slow it up. You know your leg and your line before we do anything. Can we do anything? Are you okay? No, we're fine.
Let's see how this works where you've got
Yeah, no problem. I'm good.
where the vessel is, where its path is, where the port is, where the channel is.
Or just steady on this course. And let's go down to minimum ahead, yeah? Let's go minimum ahead.
177 now, sir.
Very well, thanks. Minimum ahead. Thank you.
Remember I was saying that there's all sorts of nationalities represented here. The operator driver is from the Philippines, captain is from Poland. I think the other person here is Saudi.
172.
And Matt's calling out degree directions. Steer 2. We were at 170 degrees.
More flood than wind. That way, despite what you.
Yeah, just kind of set.
So as we are heading here, going
Started
south,
at 175.
eventually we're going to want to make a
175.
turn to about 212 degrees. You can actually see what it says, 169 there, 212. And you can see the sight line for the channel marking going back toward the 3 Mile Bridge, actually, the Bahri Tabuk. And again, Matt has all this memorized, and he has not done this just one time before. How long you been doing this, Matt?
A couple years as a trainee
Yeah?
with Brian McGee, who was the previous pilot, and then this is 2-year anniversary in July. As
So-
the one state pilot here in Pensacola.
So, a couple hundred transits for you?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about right. A couple hundred. And that's not a lot. Pensacola is slow compared to most ports.
Right.
My Coast Guard career, I've done plenty of others.
So when you're calling out 10 and 20, is that thruster percentage?
That's the rudder angle.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to just gradually bring it around. We can bring her up to slow ahead.
Slow it. That's an engine.
More turns will allow us to more pressure against the rudder, which means you turn faster. And more speed, so you're less susceptible to the wind and the flood. So
Okay, so the depth aft is
Start with
outside.
Starboard 20. Starboard 27.
very well. So now I'm going to start to turn up.
What's our speed right now?
5 knots.
5 knots, okay.
Which is the magic number to use thrusters. Anything more than that, you don't get much effect.
Okay. I can just barely,
Starboard 10.
just barely feel us turning.
Starboard 10 outside.
Very well.
As we're making the turn into the
Midships.
second leg of the
Ladder
channel.
midship. Ladder midship, sir.
Very well.
There you can, as a frame of reference, you can kind of see against that buoy that we're turning.
Let's steady on course 213.
213.
So now I told Helms we just steady on that one course.
Alright, so what you see in the distance there, the little lights, hard to tell if I've got this on camera or not. I think I do, yeah. That is the channel marker for the second leg. So the top one is just a little bit to the right, the bottom one's a little bit to the left. You can see the red right return buoy there. So we are right in the middle where we need to be for this channel. We got a couple other markers over here. That's for front side marking of that first leg of the channel. And if you come over here, you can see channel markers that we're steering between for the second leg here. Now they look pretty wide when you're driving between them in a regular boat. They don't look all that wide to me, given the size of this ship. So one of the things that Matt was just talking about is that, we got about 6 feet of clearance here. We're 27 feet and the channel is to 33 feet.
213 outside.
Very well. So an
But
interesting exercise for you is to look at the range astern of us
okay.
on that bridge wing, and then go across and look at it on that bridge wing.
Oh, okay.
Because the ship's so wide.
Yeah, that it makes a difference how it'll
be
look out of sync both ways,
parallax
right?
Such that you'll be look one way that way, and then entirely different.
I was wondering about that because I knew it didn't line up when I was on that side.
And it probably was in the middle, is somewhere in between.
Yeah, which makes sense. So what he's saying is that that rear alignment marker, because we were on that side of the ship, is why it looks slightly out of place. And so based on that, we should expect to see that the top one is going to be to the left from this side, because the width of the ship is enough to make a difference. And sure enough, see? I'm not sure if you can see that all that well, but the width of the ship, because of the geometry, is enough to make it, because of the distance between the two, is enough to make it so that it looks like you're out of line, even though you're directly in line. Here, I'll go over to the other side just so you see exactly what we're talking about. You know, if you're in a little fishing vessel, not that you need to be in the channel for that, but if you are, you know, it doesn't really matter. Oh, okay, so over here it's still to the left. No, but it's much closer. It's very close to being straight up and down. And that's the point. Very close. We talked about how close are the, how close is the channel? Well, if you think about it, you don't need it to be much wider than the biggest boats. And just passing Gulf Breeze now. Not quite passing. The wind is... So we are now moving at 8 knots. He wanted to keep it at 5 or under in order to maintain thruster control when we were moving through that first portion of the channel. But now that we're into the, you know, more open water part of it, heading over towards Fort Pickens, Fort McRae, towards the pass, you can go a little bit faster. This is kind of interesting, just the constant charting. This is in meters. So the forward draft is 8, so a little over 24 feet. Middle draft is 8.15 and aft is 8.3, so it's a little back heavy. Air draft, I assume, means height above water, 41.9 meters. Zulu time, tonnage.
When you're coming in at 9.2, then we're 9.3, it's like, Houston, so now they've got to either load more cargo or ballast to get. Yeah, they even have to lower their ballast.
Wow. He was talking about how navigating through the bridge overhead in Houston creates a challenge for them. Here they have to worry about below the keel.
212.
Is that what that air draft number is for? Okay.
Exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Here, I don't have to worry about that. Thankfully. I'll tell you, when I was with the Eagle, the sailing ship, we clear bridges by 6 inches to a foot. And
Wow.
it's 135. The standard height for bridges in the world is 135 feet. That's designed by design. And Eagle was 133, and
Oof.
some debate on how many inches, 7 inches, 3 inches, 5 inches. Like,
Yeah, it's good to be uncertain.
a couple inches matters.
Yeah.
But every time, I mean,
Fun with a little wind and chop, I bet.
212.
So we're pretty all alone out here today. What happens if you encounter traffic? Because the large vessels are supposed to give way, right?
there's all sorts of rules on the waterway.
Okay.
There's a whole book put out by the Coast Guard, and you know, all the professional mariners, the commercial folks, they understand. They know it. Some of the recreational folks do know parts of it. A lot of people will defer to law of gross tonnage, as they say.
Okay.
That's unofficial. But that's just don't get away with a big ship. It's sort of like the semi,
Yeah.
it's sort of like the
See,
semi
it
on
seems
road,
like there's
you
the
know?
smart way and there's what you might be entitled to. Aren't
That's
the
right.
same.
port to 212.
212.
So I'm in the channel. This ship obviously is constrained in the channel, which gives us pretty much priority over everybody else.
Okay.
And there's inland waters, international waters, there's all sorts of things. But here it's nice, unlike, say, Houston, where they're going. There'll be a lot of different ships moving around all the time.
Okay.
So you'll have big ships, tug barges, dredges, everything else. Here, I'm pretty much it. If I'm on it if it's moving.
Yeah.
If it's a big ship. So what I will have is sailboats or a yacht or a sports fisherman, and they're very maneuverable. So generally they stay out of the way.
They get out of the way.
And if they don't, then you sound 5 shorts of danger signals and alert them that, hey, you're kind of in a spot that's not very good for you and not good for me. So if somebody needs to move, it's usually you. You might have to slow down, and then you might have to take evasive maneuvers, and we've had to do that. Just apply some rudder and make sure you clear somebody if they're anchored or not paying attention. But by and large, most people here are pretty good. They know their way on the water, as you'd expect.
And how much space do you have if something goes wrong outside the channel? Do you how much latitude for the depth do you have?
It depends on how deeply the ship's loaded, where you're at in the waterway. So
Sure.
I was just showing somebody back there
Yeah.
that there's a spot here where it gets narrower, and
Okay.
here it opens up, so you can see
We're the,
it's
little,
30
we're the
something
green
feet out there.
The green blob right there.
Yeah, we're-
And this is the dredge spoiled area on either side.
Yep. So we're gonna come down these next buoys and we'll make a turn.
Okay.
But you can see 37 feet, 38 feet, 36 feet. So down in this part of the bay,
Yeah.
we have a lot of latitude.
Okay.
So if we lost steering or something, it's really not that big a deal down in here.
Not right away anyway.
Not right away. So you just have to have that in the back of your mind. What
Yeah.
happens if? And that's really, that same rule applies for somebody on a sports fisherman,
Yeah.
on a canoe, and just what happens if, And public service announcement for everyone is wear your life jacket. Here we don't have to wear them right
Not as
now
much,
up
right.
here, but we'll wear them when we get off
Yeah.
the ship and onto our boat. So.
And are the tugs still with us, or did they
No,
peel off?
I had them go back.
Okay.
I was done with them. They did a great job. Didn't help us get off. Couldn't have done it without them actually today.
But if everything went sideways, they'd be back out here to help us, I assume?
I could call them back.
Okay.
We'd probably get in a position where we could just let go the anchor.
Okay.
Just anchor,
Okay.
and then let it
Figure the problem out.
Figure it out.
And our channel's not active enough that that's a problem for other ships.
Generally not.
Okay.
Becomes more of an issue if you're someplace like Houston.
Yeah.
Or you have to. There's certain areas. There's anchorages, and they know where the cableways are. And there's a couple up here, places you can't anchor, going across to towards Fort Pickens.
Okay.
From the Navy base. But by and large, it's a pretty forgiving port. It's a beautiful port, and it's a beautiful waterway, naturally so. And it's been that way since
Before DeLuna.
Since DeLuna came here and founded, and even before DeLuna.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. This is a treasure. This is
So this is Pickens on the left. Is this, are we seeing Fort McRae yet?
no, Fort McCready is down there.
Oh, we're aimed
So
at
you're-
Fort Pickens, right?
you
Or aimed
are.
at the
so
peninsula anyway.
you can sort of see right ahead of us. That's like the ranger station, maybe.
Okay, all right. That's gonna go, and then the Navy base is
Navy
over
base,
here.
Coast Guard ships moored over here.
We'll take a look at those.
Buoy tent.
Oh, it's interesting how I can be 2 feet over and I catch the wind. Okay, so it's a little hard to see here because it's kind of a hazy day, but obviously you can see the water, or the water tower there on the base, which is very well known. And then if you go over here a little bit, you see the smokestack. That is not the lighthouse, by the way. It's just a smokestack. The lighthouse, I can't even see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. There in the distance. I had to look for the other water towers. That is the lighthouse and the 2 water towers by the flight line. And you can just barely see 2 Coast Guard ships right there. The white one on the left, and that would be a cutter, I think, and the black hull would be the buoy tender. That's the, oh my god, I should know. They always sit center point for the Blue Angel show. Oh, I'm going to think of it later. I just can't think of it right now. Anyway, so that is the Navy base with the airport. Naval Air Station Pensacola if you prefer. And you can see here that a nice acoustic echo here. We are headed right at Fort Pickens Peninsula, and then we are going to make a turn to the right as soon as we get past this next set of channel markers, I think. It's a weird way to go in my mind. It's only driven, only steered the boat through here just a couple of times. Oh, dolphins! Hey, buddies! Let's see if we can see you again. Come on, do me a favor. He literally just came up right there. Bummer. Sorry, I was going to show you. I mean, you've all seen dolphins before. Okay, and you can see that we are starting to steer. See our wake behind us changing position as we are making a turn into the next portion of the channel. Oh, there's one. Too far away to catch. And this is just a small note, but one of the things I learned on the McCool, and I have been reminded of today, is when you're walking around on a ship, you always got to watch out for the things that you're going to kick, which will not move and can very easily trip you. So it's not necessarily built with simplicity for the pedestrian in mind, and you just have to always watch where you're walking. Things, going through a porthole or a door, you would call it. But you kick those things and trip and hurt yourself, or bad things can happen. Injuries on ships are no joke. You can see making this big turn. Fourth leg, I think. Third leg.
They have been since the fall of 22.
Right, so this is a little bit better view. The haze is cleared up just a little bit, so you can see the buoy tender and the cutter side by side, or butt to butt if you prefer, stern to stern. Always trying to fix my my terminology a little bit. So something I never realized is just how close the channel is to Fort Pickens. I mean, you can see there, that's the right side buoy, and you can see there in the distance the two port sides, or the red ones, however you want to describe it. For reference, we're right here with the Navy base. I mean, we're due south of the center of the Navy base. That's the flight line over there, and the lighthouse. Sorry, that's the flight line in the lighthouse. And we're making a turn to kind of bend out away from the island, and then come back around and go through the port, or go through the pass. But there's Fort Pickens. Realized how close it is, the channel is to Fort Pickens. Of course, I've never in my life had to think about going through the channel in that same way. Oh, and we have picked up the pilot. Now, Matt is technically the pilot, but that's the pilot boat. That'll carry us back off of this ship back to the marina when we get done. Look at that surf. I don't know if you can make that out very well on the camera, but yeah, it's a windy day. And again, there's your Fort Pickens, Fort proper. There's some of the outer buildings. I think those are the ones that are pretty much always fenced off around. Some of the residences, and then there's the edge down. You can see in the distance Fort McCree, or McRae. The dock for the ferry. I hope you find this is interesting. It's certainly fascinating for me to watch and be a part of. really appreciate the ship and the port and Matt, the harbor pilot, for giving us this opportunity. Very, very cool. Okay, there's people out. It's a beautiful day to get a suntan. There's the seawall you can see. And again, the channel buoys just go pretty close in. And we're going to basically come past that red one and flip the butt around and then head north, or south, sorry. Get turned around. Go right through that pass there. And out to the Gulf. The Gulf of Mexico. So this is where the big maneuvering comes.
This is the turn. Yeah.
We're going 11 knots. Am I reading that right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I keep around 10. 11's okay though. I keep expecting the flood to slow us down, but it's not. Let's go port 10.
Port 10. Port 10 now, sir.
Port 20.
Port 20. Port 27.
Very well.
Again, those are rudder calls.
Yes, sir. Yep. Just watching the channel here.
That red buoy straight. No, is that? Where is the green? I see that
That's
one.
the Coastal Waterway up there.
Oh, okay,
We're
got
going
it.
Out the pass.
Got it. Yeah.
They call it the land cut, the local terminology. Port 10.
Port 10. Port 10 now, sir.
Very well. Port 5.
Port 5.
Let's go midships.
Port
Midships.
midship. Rather midship, sir.
Very well. We're turning pretty well. Port 10.
Port 10. Port 10 now, sir.
You'll see the shoal sort of make it out here.
Yeah.
From Fort Pickens. That comes across.
Okay.
And then the current here carves all that out on the Fort
Sand
McCree
Beach
side,
and right.
and it takes it out and puts it on Caucus Shoal.
Okay.
So this is deep water out to the west,
Okay.
very shallow over to the east, and that's what encroaches.
It's growing. It's always growing this way,
always
right?
grows- that's why you have to have dredging to come in to make sure you kind of beat that back, because eventually it closes
Yeah.
everybody.
Well, because Fort McCree
Or
used to
tight.
be like there was beach, and then Fort Pickens, the seawall was like way back.
Midship.
It was far closer to the fort, right?
Rather
Before.
midship, sir.
And hurricanes change the topography, of course.
Mhm.
And, there's very many variables. But so that our turn. All right, we actually go out at an angle like that. So
Okay.
You have to just get around buoy 12 here.
That's this red one on the
That's
left.
the one that,
Okay.
that marks the tip of Fort Pickens.
Okay.
The big ships. That's what I look at.
Okay. And
Smaller
because of
ones,
the wind, you're trying to stay to that side of it, as close to the red one,
Actually-
kinda, or
because of the shoal, I'll stay.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
stay off that buoy.
okay.
There's a.
So do they have to come out and move these buoys sometimes because of that? I mean, periodically they must, right?
They check them. They inspect them.
Oh, okay.
And work on them, service them. The Coast Guard ship that's right there.
The
you
buoy
just
tender,
passed,
yeah.
They work these buoys.
That's the home crew.
Yeah, so it's very nice to have them right here in our port, obviously. And port 5.
Port 5.
I saw we picked up the pilot
Port
boat.
5, sir.
They'll be right behind us, yeah. Is it a wrap? The seas are going rough. It doesn't seem like from here. Very well. And midships.
Midship to wind. Rather midship, sir.
Very well. Starboard 5.
Starboard 5. Starboard 5, sir.
Very well. So if you get too close to shallow water, it'll suck our stern in.
Okay.
Which we don't want that.
Okay.
Because I want to eventually turn to port. And if my stern gets sucked in by Fort Pickens,
You can't make that turn properly?
it'll hold us down until you break the suction.
Okay.
Midships,
Midship the wind.
and then you can do it, but it might be too late. So give that a healthy respect.
Okay. Stay far out away from the rudder on the left.
Same
12.
thing happens with little boats, but you're so powerful for the tonnage
That you can maneuver around it?
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. Big ships not so much. Starboard 10.
Starboard 10.
So that's the thing you were talking about earlier, is it'll try to suck you in from getting out at this turn.
Starboard 10,000.
Very well. I'm just going to kill the headway. Steady on 175.
175.
Should-
175,000.
See the little green buoy up there right ahead?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's what I'm making now.
Okay, and the rudder on the left I see, okay. That's 14?
It's just a guide. It's an approximation. I just right about that area is where I want to settle in.
Okay.
It's a good course outbound for us. Then we'll take the last leg and we're out to sea. And there's Pickens.
Yeah. This is John Pickens in front of Fort Pickens. Why is it so rough over here? Is it shallow there? Or?
Shallow.
Okay.
So the wave energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It comes up. And there we go. That's us, the green.
Yep.
You know, split buoys 10 and 11.
And this is inverted, so we're going, this is
We're
south.
going south,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
So north is up.
Yep. So that's on the left is Fort McRae or McCree, and that's, is it McCree or McRae?
I want to call it McCree.
Okay, I'm gonna go with you. You're the harbor pilot.
I should ask you. You're the local. Port 174.
10.
174.
174.
So there's Fort McCree. I don't remember which way it is. Or you might think of it as Johnson Beach, maybe. The end of Johnson Beach. Very cool place. Bit of work to get there, though, if you're not taking a boat. And here is Fort Pickens. And there's the pilot vessel. Oh, it's going to be a fun ride back into the marina. Oh, neato. All right, and then you can see right behind us, okay, the water towers, but also the lighthouse, which of course is part of your guide. But then right in front of the lighthouse, you can see the little channel markers. Right, that's the one that tells you in line with the lighthouse, that's where you're going. And there's actually, I don't think you can see it, but I think there's a second one behind the first one that's at water level. As long as you're on that line, you're in the channel. All right, so we're getting towards the very end here. You can see the shallow water to the outside of the channel. That's why you've got all of this surf. The water's got to go somewhere. And in the distance, you can see, again, remember the lights back on 3 Mile Bridge? Those lights, gosh, can you even see that on my phone? I hope you can. There you go. There's a, channel marker with lights. The green tells you where we are in the channel, as we should be. That's your final, first in and final out marker in terms of visual, like guiding you in and out. Aside from the buoys, obviously, but buoys can be hard to see until it's too late with a big ship like this. You gotta have something from a distance. And at this point, you can make out still passing buoys, still passing channel markers, but there's at least one Here we are leaving. Watch your step. Also, the boat is moving, so it's a little bit dicier. This is all the equipment that they've got ready to take to... Where are we going next, Matt? Houston for this ship?
Yes, sir.
And then around the world, right?
Houston, then Wilmington, North Carolina, then Baltimore, and then over to Europe.
There it is. Well, John just got in. We're on the pilot boat, and man, you do great. You do. Woo!
You want in it?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. Bye-bye, baby.
All good?
Yep.
How's the weather? Yeah. How's the weather?
I'm good. Wow.
They always look small when you're 100 feet up.
Right.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's good.
We're on a wave right now.
Yeah.
He's at full throttle.